I gotta get new music because the last one got us copyright strike for starting soon. But that's what I'm gonna do when I'm off in September. I'm gonna get us new music, so we'll
I hope
be
you're producing the music
what?
with a
Oh, you
kazoo.
you got yeah. You guys are gonna make it and everything like that. You gotta was it acapella and everything like that?
We'll
Oh
just improv a song every episode.
wow, that'd be really talented to see. Also, while I'm sharing this link, I have to say I was a little to pick up where we are. I was a little disappointed by the Billie Eilish album. Not gonna lie.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just
Okay.
I'm gonna try and give it
Interesting.
another listen. I don't think it was bad, but
How
I
many
just
times did you
didn't
listen to it?
just the once because
Oh,
this was the
okay.
problem. When I listened to it, I had the you know what? I think I'm good, and I'm gonna listen to it again. And there was a couple songs in there I actually did really like, but for the most part, I was like, you know what? Just didn't have a banger for me. But I will try again at some point.
Yes, I didn't care. I mean, there's a couple songs when I was like, okay, it's pretty good. I don't really know what she's saying, but it's pretty good. And then when we were on our drive, Shane and I listened to the album a few times. So like that's when it really sunk in. It's like, oh, okay,
There you
yeah,
go. So
there's some
Stockholm syndrome.
exactly.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 408th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. I am as you see down below, the chairman of the GV, the GUA, the Gauntlet. There's been some stuff going on, but I
A
have to fill.
mouthful.
I was
I had
gonna
to
do a
cut you
nice.
off.
I was gonna do a nice build you up because you're back 3 weeks later, but no build up or anything like that. Thank goodness. So a simple answer to the title for me. No, not really. Okay, yes, Pubs, we'll get there. He's getting right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Trash Snell, and as you've heard for the past 3 weeks, I've been alone, holding the fort down, newscast reviews, what ifs, and stuff like that. But finally, I am joined by the one and only, the returning Kirklin Patzer. How are you, sir?
Yes, I am back. I am rested and recovered, and I'm ready to get back on the podcasting. This is kind of like the transition period,
Yeah.
in like relay when the two racers are running at the same time, and then you're like giving me the baton as you were just holding
Mm-hmm.
it down on your own for a little while there, and then you'll be off doing your own personal things, and then
Yeah,
it'll
I'll be
just be
off.
me, and then I'll pick up Taylor, and we'll hopefully finish the race off into December.
When is Jessica's pick off? And okay, I'm gonna be gone for September. I'll be back at the end of September. I'm not gonna be gone till
We'll see how
December.
successful we are. We might not ask you to come back.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you saw. I did change the title, but the lawyers thought it was best for marketing to change the title for
Yeah.
Trask and the Geekverse. So it worked out quite well. Big successful, no controversy at all. No, I have me and Taylor have a match just August 27th against me and him with DC Alliance and Rocket League.
Hell
If
yeah.
Clay loses, he loses his title shot. So I'm
If Clay loses, he loses his title shot. Well, if I was a betting man and I had to put money on anyone, I feel like I would have to put it on Clay. Oh, he's back.
I'm back. Yeah, I don't know. It's been doing that recently. I don't know what's happened,
Okay.
but yeah, you have to put it on Clay. Really?
I mean, part of me was just trying to fill the dead air there. But also, I mean, if I am a betting man and I had to put it on two guys, I would have to put it on the guy that he beat you and he beat you by a couple of points. So
Oh, I
that's the
threw it to him
momentum
though.
coming.
Remember, you keep forgetting that point that I threw it to him. We
I do
talked
forget
about
that.
we talked about this last week with them. I was on there. Go check out DC Alliance last week. Titans review, one of their biggest episodes ever. Gee, who would have thought? Because Travis is on there. Comes Titans, really good this season. So go back and check out their episode because we had lots of fun talking about that. But I brought up to Hines. I'm like, boxers all the time would throw fights, all the time, and that's what I did in the sake of charity. And like I said, this is me and Taylor versus Hines and him, and I don't know what Hines has going on. All I said was I messaged Taylor today, who's still on his vacation. I just said that Hines says he's going to spank us, and he says I like Travis, but he's a Canadian hoser. That's what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh, look at
it's
that.
it's gonna be fun, and that might be his actual return. But yeah, so I've as always getting my putting my feet in the fire a little bit. But yeah, so this is a newscast. We're gonna do this. We got what if later this week, and then we'll have a newscast to close out. Next week is next week could be a busy week. I will plug right now because Dylan told me to. I need to look up the name of the show that he was on. He's on a show, but he's not on this show. But no, he's going to be on next week because next week's Gamescom. So we're going to talk about that. I know at some point he's going to be on for Ghost of Tsushima. The director's cut's coming out this Friday. There's tons of stuff. I got Avengers coming out tomorrow. War for Wakanda. So I'm excited about that. I'll probably talk about that. But he's on either He said, I guessed it on Swishheads podcast this week. So whenever they drop, go follow. We've promoted before and we'll promote it again when they're on. I've never talked to them before, but Dylan has nothing but bad things.
Oh no. Call it off. Call it off.
Dylan has nothing but good things to say about those guys, so I look forward to hopefully doing something in the future with them. But yeah, next week's Gamescom. So we got Xbox, we got opening light live. So you'll probably hear Dylan around, and then let's see. Travis is playing 40 Rocket League chess. Exactly, S Bubs. You know what, S Bubs? If you want, it's just Maddie because he gets that honor, and there's a few other people. But you got to be a part of the Travis troops. They know what I'm doing here. They've seen that like everyone else is playing checkers. I'm playing chess. This is all part of the plan, and I'm a double champion right now, and maybe soon to be a 3-time champion if things go my way. But the thing is, you think I'm really gonna lose? I'm gonna bring it this time because I will say one thing about Clay. Even though I was throwing the match, he did impress me, and maybe I wouldn't have taken him as seriously if I was playing. But now, when I've seen a little bit of the skill he actually has, oh no, it's gonna be happening. So it's been growing every episode since I joined. I bring the views, I bring the listeners. Clay, as the person that runs UA, let's calm down here. I know these numbers, all right? But check out. We got lots of stuff coming up, lots of stuff in the past. I personally will be. I don't know, because Kirklin, he's like he has to get back in the groove of things. But if you watch Reminiscence this week in Kirkland, I'll be reviewing it sometime this weekend. So I'm excited about that. I was pissed because we're not getting in the theaters at all Thursday. So I'm going to watch it Friday, HBO Max. So I was really looking forward to seeing theaters. I might, but I got that coming up. The week after is Candyman. So a nice little rounding out in August and stuff like that. If you like what we do, head over to Patreon. You can get this episode and many ad-free. You can get early exclusive episodes as well. Harry Potter retros up there. Dexter retros just started. Other commentary tracks. So that helps us. If you go to the About section, you can read how your funds and what you do to support us actually helps and what it goes towards. So we really appreciate if you do that. If you can't do that, please just subscribe on YouTube, your podcatcher of choice. And if you have Apple, please give us a 5-star written review and like us and follow us on social media, because that's when we'll go live and you'll see other shenanigans. Because yes, August 27th, that's gonna be a big one. And then you got Shang-Chi coming up. That's not been delayed. So there you go, Kirkland. And so you've said you've been literally out of the loop, eh? You've not seen, you don't know anything really, huh?
No, not at all. I was camping for a week, so I was out of service. I had like one bar, so I didn't really like try and go on like internet, Twitter, or anything like that. And then I come back on Twitter, back on the grid. I see this weird logo of some dude over at the GV. I'm like, oh, what's this account? I don't follow these guys. When did this happen? That was
Yeah, that was
a
all
awakener.
that was all the lawyers. I don't know. They'll have to change that back now that people are coming back. But yeah, I got nothing to do with that. But yeah, so I wanted to because I was gonna say this earlier, which is it is the case of it though, because I was originally saying like, oh, I'll probably be back for Venom and whatnot. So Venom's been delayed. Do you know that? I'm literally just looking at the podcasts that I've done recently and seeing what the topics are. Did you know Venom
Okay.
got delayed?
I did not. No,
So,
that
yeah.
doesn't surprise me. Though. What was the original date?
It was September 23rd, and now it's October 15th.
Okay.
The interesting thing is it's the same day. This is what we're gonna do for the first 5 minutes. We're just gonna catch Kirkland up on everything he's missed. So it's gonna be the same day as the next Halloween. So that's kind of interesting if that all sticks. But they casted Margot Robbie as Sue Storm. Did you hear about that?
Oh my gosh. No, I didn't. That's crazy.
Of course you didn't. It's fake. I just made that up.
Okay. I didn't know we were playing this game.
Oh, I almost got. I told the viewers last cast I'm going to do that, and then obviously you've seen Moon Knight's costume, but let me just show it to you again.
I like the cowl. The cowl
Yeah,
looks good.
they got the whole. Yeah, he just working on. That's why you listen to every newscast, because I said I was going to fuck with him a little bit. But let's see. So if I were to ask you, do you think, fact or fiction, Suicide Squad was the biggest streaming movie on HBO Max that was a DC movie that just came out?
And like this is the Snyder Cut era. Well.
Yeah, everything since HBO Max launched. So like last year from Wonder Woman, and you have like Godzilla, you got Mortal Kombat, you got obviously. Well, I guess it's just Suicide Squad, and there's something else. I thought there was another DC movie that dropped. Maybe I'm wrong. Fuck. I guess there's not a DC movie.
I'm gonna say fiction. So I don't think that's true.
It was bigger.
I think it was smaller.
You think the Snyder Cut was smaller?
Oh no, sorry. I think the Suicide Squad was smaller.
Okay, so you're wrong there. So
Oh,
funny enough, it's HBO. They haven't said this officially, but they did say this officially. They said it's their second biggest movie, HBO Max, the day and date release. Samba TV is this thing that tracks numbers, so they never put out officially, but it looks like that Mortal Kombat is still HBO Max's number one most streamed movie
wow.
over the Suicide Squad. Yeah, kind of
Damn.
crazy.
That is pretty
Su-
crazy.
Suicide Squad, like obviously because the pandemic and stuff like that has risen. That it's kind of not done well.
Mm.
Free Guy beat it in its opening weekend, like the same numbers and whatnot. I think it's gonna make. I think the expectations are about like 45 million, like overall North American. To hear this stat, Suicide Squad in 2016, its day one income was $64 million. So it's going to make more in its
Oh,
first day one. So, see HBO Max, lots of pandemic stuff. That's a whole bunch of things. I'm trying to think what else happened here. Were you here? Well, I'll save actually the Black Widow stuff until I get to that Curella news here. Let's see. And that's the only thing I was gonna ask you too is that Moon Knight thing. You said you didn't like it when I put it in the group chat.
yeah.
You gave like a no, not really gift or something like that.
Yeah, it was just like first like reaction. I just wanted to like get it out there on what I was originally feeling because I figured the more I saw it, I would grow to like it more. But I just right away, I think I was just expecting that more sleek,
Yeah, yeah.
night where it's just like all white, like no stains really, just looking all suave.
This has a lot
So
of stains.
and then I think right after you had said it was more true to his like origin or something, like an earlier
Well, not the
revision, I guess,
earlier.
of his suit.
Well, yeah, not the very, very first one because that was a bit more clean, sleeker. But in 2000s, he started to rock like I used the example the other day, but like I'm not
Spell
pulling
it
up the
out.
omnibus memo again, but
Spell
like
it out.
look at the suit in the early 2000s, like really
Yeah,
beefy, very.
more
So I
rugged.
think we'll get there. We're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff. So
Yeah, so I think just initially my mind was like, okay, is this the only Moon Knights I'm gonna see?
mhm.
Okay, I'd rather something else, which doesn't take away from it. I do hope that we get a lot more suits. I'm a big fan of suits. I like
Oh yeah.
seeing all different sorts. So yeah, just that was my initial thought, but I know I'll probably grow to like because it does look more rugged and like, ooh, he looks dangerous. This is an interesting, I don't know, take of the character. I've
Mhm.
only seen him from what I've seen in either Ultimate Alliance or like the few comic books that like my dad had back in the day. Thank you, Chris. Good to be back. Thanks for
Welcome
popping in.
back, Kirklin. Yeah, the one last GUA person that hasn't turned on me. Before I had him and Brent, but Brent is still he believes the false theory that Clay actually beat me, but it's just complete falsehood. And then the only other I'm trying to think of any other big things. I might bring them up eventually, but Sung Chi is just theatrical, no premiere access, so just going to theaters. You don't get the
I,
home option.
I'm not sure if I saw that somewhere or if the back of my mind I just assumed it was that. So
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you
yeah.
go.
And that there was like a big hubbub because the COO, the new guy, Bob Chapek, called it an experiment, and people didn't really like that. Even the Star tweeted out that there were not an experiment and all this stuff. So it's it's been a swimming time. And then, like I said, I'm excited to talk to you about the Black Widow stuff because I think you might have been here for the tail end of some of the stuff going on, but there's been some updates. So
That's interesting.
so this happened a few days ago. We'll start off with this. Speaking of just things coming back and things talking about 2016. So you weren't around, but a few days ago, I think you were around, but you weren't in the bubble. A few days ago, these I don't know who the fuck they are. They just come like, and this means no offense, like from the Snyder fans to the Ayer fans, they just come out of nowhere and they just go right. So they had this campaign and like kind of like the Snyder cut, they're gonna make the hashtag release the Ayer cut trend because also Suicide Squad that was a big talking point. If you don't know, you may know because I've talked about it, but if people don't know, I'm going to fill you in. So what happened was in 2016, BVS comes out, right? And it disappoint for whatever you think. I don't want to hear fucking about it. Warner Brothers is not happy about it. They're disappointed. They don't like the box office, the critical review, the fans are split. I don't care what everyone says. The box office doesn't matter. BVS should have made $1 billion. The fact that didn't is still embarrassing. You can say whatever you want. You can try to find any loophole, whatever you want to say. Oh, the critics ran against it. I've seen 4 Transformer movies that people fucking hated make billions of dollars. Okay, but Batman and Superman, the first on screen, couldn't do that with Wonder Woman. That shows you something. Either way, so that happens. And then while David Ayer is making the Suicide Squad, they go to him and they go, "Hey, this is too dark. We want to be more fun. We want to be like this. And honestly, then we got the 2016 Suicide Squad. If you didn't know, we've talked about this on the commentary track, stuff like that. We released that a few weeks ago for the feeds, but they got a trailer company to come in and actually edit the movie. So he didn't edit it, a trailer company edited it. And that's why there's lots of music and lots of cuts and stuff like that. And there's a lot of more the darker stuff cut out, like Joker does hit Harley, stuff like that. So they cut that out. And then now here we are, jumped to 2000, 21 March. The Snyder Cut releases, right? People like it. Most people like it. There's some people that don't still, but that's fine. Anyway, so now the idea is, well, that happened, so we should try and get that with the AR cut. So they created this campaign. Now, clearly, there's this account that's like called Release the AR Cut or something. Clearly, the director is feeding them things because they were releasing script pages of stuff we've never seen before. They released an image. I can't show it here because I'd probably get the stream would probably get pulled down. They released an image of Harley Quinn and Deadshot making out, which was not in the original movie. And then there's all these other things like, do you remember who El Diablo is?
Yes, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. There's things like he survived in the original cut and stuff like that. So there's
Forgot
like
he died.
yeah. I just forget about this or all I think about was a stupid family gimmick. S-Pub says the script was hilarious bad. I imagine you're talking about BVS. There's times where it is. I'll agree with you. I like the movie, but I definitely understand. So this was a big campaign. I think it got like 650K tweets. I still no one's ever told me that these tweets are they individually, or could I just tweet 10,000 times, hashtag release air cut. Now I'm not trying to diminish it because look what happened with the Snyder Cut. It did happen, all the stuff. And the difference is I think Ayers said like, okay, we don't like there wouldn't be that much work on this because they edited and made a lot of the movie. They decided we don't want to go with this. We want to go with something a bit lighter. So Kirklin, you live in a post Snyder Cut world. You live in a world where you actually enjoy the Snyder Cut quite a bit. Is this something that you would want to see now? And do you think it's likely to happen? Because the only reason I ask is it likely is you have fan support, you have people that want to see it. But the 2 days after the Snyder Cut, I don't know if you remember that article that came out from Ann Sarnoff. She's one of the higher ups at Warner Brothers, where she's like, yeah, we're not doing any more Zack Snyder Justice League. We're not doing an AR cut. They kind of just shat on everything like we're moving forward. So do you think there's a likelihood, and does this like interest you at all, or like because where are you on the Snyder Cut? Because obviously, or sorry, the AR cut. Fuck, I'm so used to saying the Snyder Cut, but obviously we don't know as much about the Snyder Cut. But it's one of these things of like this feels like it's not the start, but this is definitely the biggest it's been. And I think because now Suicide Squad's come out, people feel like, well, we can move on and try and get this thing out now.
Yeah, it's interesting just because I feel part of me is intrigued, especially because like I did see the Deadshot Harley Quinn leak photo, and then just some other minor details that I've just heard through the grapevine. I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of part of me wants to see that, but also part of me is like, I hated that movie, so let's just move on. But then, I also really didn't like Justice League, and then Snyder Cut came out, and I loved that movie. It completely changed it for me. So I think it is definitely possible to have that same effect on me if it does come out. Now, the likelihood of it, I feel like I'm kind of like 55% chance that it's yes. Over like
55.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
over
Now 50-50.
no, over 50-50, I was saying.
Over
Like
50-50. Okay.
yeah, so just because of like all the leaks coming out, and then it sounded like David Ayer himself like kind of confirmed like some of the details.
He said when people asked, there was the screen grabs of the script. And S-Bubs also, have you read the script? And if so, send me it because I know someone that has script now. I'm not actually too interested in it, but I've heard like I talked to one person that does have the script and like they said it's phenomenal, but then everyone else I talked to did not have kind things to say. And like I like I'll let you continue after, but anyways, what I was saying is those images that came in the script, some people said like, oh, are these just scenes that were in the script or did you film them? And he said all of them. So it makes it sound like to me whatever because he's the guy leaking, it's like who leaked the Deadpool footage back in 2014. It's like it was fucking Ryan Reynolds. So whatever he's leaking has all been filmed. So to clarify that.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't seem like they'd have to shoot like anything extra.
No.
Like it's all ready to go. And like a big part of the decision on why I would give it like more than just a 50-50 chance is because I was so in disbelief with the Snyder Cut happening. So much so that I was like, this is such a
Mhm.
waste of time for people to just be like, just like, you know, screaming for the Snyder Cut. And then here I am, 2021, August 16th, just like eating my own words.
Yeah.
So
Golden Geek's potential nominee in a few months.
anything is in the realm of possibility as far as I'm concerned. But as
Yeah.
far as if I want it, I feel like no. I feel like I'm okay. Like Batman, or sorry, not Batman. Justice League. It it had a lot of content that I wanted to like, whereas in
Mhm.
Suicide Squad, I had no like attachment to it. I'm like, I don't even know who these characters are other than Harley Quinn, and I loved her performance. It's unfortunate she was in a bad movie, in my opinion. Um, and if this was the only interpretation of Harley Quinn, I'd be really upset, and I would be like, really, I don't know, voicing my opinion on release the Air cut because I want to see more of the character. But
Yeah.
you know, now she's in the new Suicide Squad. I haven't seen it yet. I love Birds of Prey, so I have other, I don't know, medias to witness that performance. So it's not just tied to the one movie. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens. It's an interesting thing, nonetheless.
I have to ask that now that you have some movies to catch up like that, like Green Knight's going to be coming out this
hmm
week on VOD. Are you going to do like a binge week one time? Or are you going to go like surely and slowly, like, oh, movie here, movie there, you know?
Um, realistically, it's probably here and there, but who
Yeah, yeah.
knows? I'm not sure if Shay is working this weekend. I can't quite remember her schedule, so it depends. I feel like Green Knight, she really wants to see that. We saw the trailer together and it looked really good.
Does she like Hereditary and Midsommar and stuff like that?
Not at all. That's why I was
Okay.
like, I don't think she knows what she's getting into, but she said it.
Yeah.
So we'll,
The
we'll
same
start
way
the movie
Taylor sent it
nonetheless.
to me. He's like, "Oh, this movie sold me." I'm like, "You're not it." And it's not the same director, but it's just like it's a very slow pace, but it's my movie of the year right now. I loved it. It was
Is
so
it
good.
like suspenseful in like a thriller type fashion, or just more?
Um like yeah, there's suspense, but like it's more I think it's more inner emotional journey about a guy, and I
Yeah,
won't like reveal what happens and stuff like that. But I think it's
yeah.
more in his head, stuff like that. So this is Kirkland we're talking about. He'll start one and then never get the rest
Hey,
of it to the
hey
other.
now,
It's like
Clay. I was rooting for you in the Rocket League thing. Don't make me switch sides, son.
that's happened before. People were supporting him a few weeks ago, and then even pissed off Joe from Ranger Alliance. He's like, "Yeah, you are." And then so like, see, people are slowly turning around. For what is the expression? Die hero, live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Clay, I was once cheered, I was once loved, but then so I realized, fuck the fans, fuck the people. They're against me. But so Espos put this quote in here: "Joker is ripped like an." MMA fighter. I imagine that
Kind of
is
want to
from
see
the
it.
script. We did see it though. He was ripped like an MMA fighter, right? He had his shirt off a few times. Kirkland just blocked that movie out of his head. We did a commentary track like last year. It's still like, nope, it's gone. So here I'm on a double-edged sword, and this is where the Air Cut for the first time this week has gotten the most traction. I think because there's a lot of people that don't like Suicide Squad that are really like the Super Snyder Bros or like the whatever universe he was setting up. Um, I think that the reason Snyder Cut always had more of a following is because you had Man of Steel and BVS to be before to precede it, right? So people, if they liked those movies already, they'd go, well, this Justice League, which we kind of all thought is clearly the 2017 one, that's not Zack Snyder's work. We know his work's like, it's not like that. So we want to see what he did do and see what's closer to it. Where this, it's interesting because David Ayers, yeah, he wrote Training Day, he did Fury, and he did End of Watch, which is some good movies. But then he's also done Bright, and he also did that terrible movie with Shia LaBeouf last year. So like, I'm very 50-50 on him, and he's not the type of guy that when someone says, "Oh, I read the script and it's awful," I wouldn't be like, "Really? Like that doesn't make much sense." So it's like I don't know where it is, and I also just think because his movies have been getting, in my opinion, poor in quality, that this was starting more of the downtrend, and it's tough as far as do I want to see it. Like absolutely for two reasons. One, I'm always thinking about the podcast that I know there'll be a big episode and do good ratings, so that's fine. That's number one. Why is always one the Snyder Cut? Snyder Cut's in our top 10 episodes, so I knew that was going to happen. But two, the same way like Kirk was talking about, like when the Snyder Cut was happening, I was just more curious about it than like needing to see it. And then once we got the marketing and ramping up, I was excited. Then once we got it, I was like, okay, I did love it. I don't love BVS or Man of Steel, but I do love Justice League. So that's where it's like, okay, maybe I have that situation again with Suicide Squad. And I've always said before, more like Harley Quinn with Margot Robbie is never a bad thing. So I'll take whatever I can. On the split side, and this is where, and I'm not saying the theatrical one sucks. Like I think it's a top 10 worst comic book movie. You know, like I said, there's revisionist history. I remember when that movie came out, and so many people loved it, and now they shit on it because they know there's another cut. You know, so I everything I've heard about the movie is it like doesn't sound like it's up my alley either. You know, like I was somebody that I think I remember I said in the review of like I actually really like the Deadshot Harley weren't like a romantic item. I like that they were just kind of like these lost souls that maybe down the line you could, but in this they're already making out. So it's like, oh, okay. You automatically get more Jared Leto as Joker, which I know people say like, well, maybe that's when you'd like the performance. No, like everyone always says
No.
this. They're like, oh, if we saw more, like I don't even say maybe. You can tell that he still made a choice. I'm saying, yeah, you could have some better writing or story around him. That's fine. But like rip off Cholo Joker or whatever, like I've seen what he's doing, his Jim Carrey impression, and to me it's not good. Now, could I be turned around? Sure. I think Justice League, there's moments where he is good, but then he just has to fucking ham it up and stuff like that. So we'll see. I don't know I think the likelihood all depends on they're in the middle of a buyout, and I don't think it's official till next year, that whole Discovery taking over and stuff like that. So I think once that is official, then we'll see some more moves played. Because I do think that the other thing that you missed while you're gone was Warner Brothers for next year signed, I think for the AMC and someone else, they signed a 45-day theatrical exclusive window. So for 2022, they can't do that shit of like, oh, all the movies are going to be on HBO Max, which now, as COVID cases start to rise again, maybe could have been a mistake because now it's like, well, now you have to go to theaters. You know, like
Yeah.
Suicide Squad didn't do well. Free Guy like did well this weekend, but it still just did like 30 million or something, and it's like $150 budget movie and stuff. It's just like the movies right now, they're just like, and that's kind of been the thing that has been talked about a lot with Shang-Chi, that myself and many others just feel like it's just gonna bomb and not do well because there's just lots of people that now don't want to go back out again, you know, because they just
Yeah.
want to play it safe. So, and my theory is, and a few other people have this, that they're on purpose, like putting Shang-Chi out to bomb, almost to be like, see, like, look, we need premiere access and stuff like that. So I think next year with HBO Max, if they need more content, if this movie takes a little bit to produce and it's almost ready to go, he just has to re-edit it, or whoever has to re-edit it, put it out there. I don't, and that's the thing where it's like it's a director's cut. If you're truly moving on, I don't think it matters. And at the end of the day, I know people want more Zack Snyder's Justice League, and sure, you could want that. I would actually want that well, but at the same time, I always said like just be happy you're getting what you get. I feel like you could easily have him, like Zach did, do that, and then he moves on. Zack Snyder's with Netflix. He's making a bunch of movies now, so it's like, yeah, you might want more, but would you rather like want more or get nothing at all? You know, so it's like if you really want to see this air cut, I think I'm with you where it's like I'll agree with you actually, like the 55-45. Like give it a little more time because I want to see if this continues. Because that was the thing with the Snyder cut, is that it just continued to keep going. People kept talking about it, stuff like that. The air cut for a while, people tried to get it going and it never did. And I feel like right now it's just happening because the last movie just came out, like a Suicide Squad centric movie did, right? Let's see in 6 months from now what happens. And the other difference is, and they didn't do this right away, but eventually, like Ben Affleck tweeted, you know, release the Snyder cut. Momoa, Gal Gadot,
Mm.
Will Smith ain't doing that. If you watch Margot Robbie, y'all have to find this clip when they ask her about on the red carpet. She looks like she wants really nothing to do with it, because I don't think Margot Robbie really gives a shit. Because she's like, she played it as a pop. She's like, I don't even see the movies. You know, when they get to the theater, I don't even know what's playing. I just shoot some stuff, and then I sometimes see it like months later. I go, oh, that's what they saw. It's like, yeah, okay. Maybe I'm sure that's the case, but they played it off a little. They got asked a lot at the red carpet and stuff like
Mm.
that. So yeah, we'll
That's
see.
funny.
I think it's more once that deal closes and once we go get into next year, because we'll see what content's like and stuff like that. I guess you probably haven't seen the movie, but they cast Batgirl. They got a Batgirl actress. Her name's Leslie Grace. She's like from In the Heights and stuff like that. J.K. Simmons is actually coming back as Gordon too.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. Because I guess originally they were gonna recast, but then they went with him and they made the smart choice. So he's coming back. So that's, I guess, shooting sometime next year, and supposed to be, that was an HBO Max exclusive one. So yeah, they're making a Batgirl movie. So there you go. So
Nice.
any other points on MMA fighter Joker or the air cut or anything like that?
Nope. Let's see what happens.
we'll see what happens. So we're gonna take our first ad break. You know how this goes. This helps supports us. So we will be right back after this.
When I was listening to that cast today, I got an ad all in Spanish. That was the first time that's happened to me.
Oh, the What If ad
Yeah,
or the What If podcast? Yeah,
I think yeah.
that's funny. Yeah. So I was doing good for a while because I'd listen to podcasts like for GOA and I'd get multiple different ads. And then Clay and Travis Classic complained that they're just getting the same ads. And then once they did that, I got the same. I got this like healthcare ad over and over. It's like, fuck, I do this like 40 plus hours. I know what's going on in the healthcare system in Canada, but I actually am going to punt a story because I just want to get your thoughts on something here because
Let's do
I
it.
think it was happening. And I guess I meant punt forward, not get rid of it. But like it was happening kind of like right as you were leaving. Did you hear about the Black Widow thing at all and ScarJo thing at all?
Like the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Um, it came on my radar because of memes, naturally,
Right.
and
Right.
then it was something to do with her contract and how it was supposed to be like released in theaters, and then they released it digitally, and then it like went against her contract, right?
Yeah.
And then
And
last
she
I
claims they
heard,
never
she had,
talked to them.
yeah, okay. So I didn't
Yeah.
read like any details. All I knew, or the last quote I read or something, was she just cuts all ties with Disney.
Yeah, so that's what she put out, that she claimed that Disney said, and she apparently has an email, so we'll see if it ever goes to court, or they'll probably sell out of court. But she said that, like, okay, it's supposed to be theatrical, and they said if it goes to streaming, we'll talk to you. She says no one ever got in touch with her before. They
Mm.
say that's BS, but they also kind of said some weird stuff. They were like, we've paid her 20 million, and she I'm paraphrasing, should be fine with that. And it was kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
that's not the smart way to kind of do it. It doesn't matter if a contract says you're supposed to make a certain money. It doesn't matter. I don't care
Yeah.
what she's making. But so, anyways, that was kind of a steamroll, and like they haven't really addressed it. Foggy wasn't asked about the red carpet or anything like that, but they had like these other reports of like Emma Stone's gonna sue, Emily Blunt's gonna sue, all this and everything like that. So what
Mm.
came out today though was, so apparently Emma Stone, there was like I said, the rumor that she was gonna sue. A report came out today that she got paid 8 figures for Curella as like a make good, and then she'll also get 8 figures for Curella too, which she's apparently about to do.
Why
And the room,
not?
yeah, I'll play fucking Curella for 8 figures. You know, like that's like 10 million minimum. You know, like that's like
Yeah.
in a day she pretty much made a deal to get her 20 million. You know, and apparently the reports that she kind of used some of the ScarJo stuff against that and everything like that, like to her advantage. So yeah, I'm not like, obviously you didn't see Corella, you don't need to see Corella, but it's just interesting the fact of like that's I just think about that. I can't even think about that one day you're like, okay, 8 million and it's just in your bank account, good to go. But it's going to be interesting because The Rock said he didn't, apparently like his team said there was no problems or stuff like that. So it's kind of interesting that like ScarJo for some reason seemed to be the one to like I don't know, like slip through, or did they think they could get away with it? I don't know. And there still hasn't been a report of like paying ScarJo off or anything, but I imagine you probably think the same. But do you think that this is something that's going to be settled out of court, or do you think that they'll put the big Dukeroos up and she'll fully go for it? You know, because like she'll go for it, but that's a lot of powerful
Yeah.
lawyers you're gonna have to go against. You know.
Yeah, I think they'll settle.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that she's such like a beloved like actress and like character in the, not even just in the MCU, just in film industry. So I feel like she'll just get a lot of support no matter what. And at the end of the day, Disney's like, I mean, I personally I feel like it's smarter for them to just be like, okay, it's cheaper for us to just, you know, settle with this, and then, and again, I don't know all the details, so take this with a grain of salt for sure. But like just to settle it as opposed to make it a big public thing. Who knows if it becomes like a bigger scandal and then
Mhm.
Disney's stock is just like taking, I don't want to say like a big hit or anything, but just it'll be affected from this situation because that's the way stocks get affected, just from everyday controversies and things happening in the news. So I think I think it's more logical to just have them settle it on their own. But it is interesting to just see something like this come out, especially from a character, or not a character, an actress like ScarJo.
Yeah.
You would think like if anyone, I don't know, they wouldn't really have any issues with it, but it goes to show how little I really have, or goes to show how little I know about like the inner workings of these contract dealings and stuff like this. Because when I just am seeing these products, these movies, Disney Plus stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just smooth sailing everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes
Well, and
there's
it always
grimy
has
stuff
been in
going
the
on.
past, and that's where it's kind of
Yeah.
different. But that's why some people have speculated too, as far as like Shang-Chi is like, well, if some of those actors had just a theatrical deal, it's like, well, let's put them in there because we'll see if another movie goes premiere access after this lawsuit. Like, I'm sure they might do it at some point, but SBubs one, thanks for sending some of that script my way. But you said if they're making Joker 2, they can make Cruella 2. So like here's the thing. Corella's it's a fine movie, and I'm down to see more because she's good in it. I just don't know, like, and this is where it all comes down the wire. Corella too, I don't really know where you go with it. We're Joker, not just because comic books. I feel like there's so many things you can go, but also it's like Joker 2 to me has always made sense because like it made $1 billion. Let's try and get more of that money back. Corella, unfortunately, you don't know what it made and everything like that. So but again, I feel like people would like it enough. So it's just interesting, and you know what? Good for Emma Stone for getting a massive payday for Corella and maybe Corella too. Because like you said, why
Absolutely.
not? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't
Yeah,
you sign on to that?
I would.
Uh, what did you think about? Did you watch the Nick Cage trailer I sent you?
I did. Yes.
So
I
this is coming.
thought it was a direct sequel to Willy's Wonderland.
Pretty much, except he's talking this
Yeah.
time. So when I was watching, I got really weird because I'm not sure who's directing it, but it's like from the producers of Mandy and then Color Out of Space,
Color
and
of
I was like,
Space is the one that got me. And I'm like,
yeah.
no, no.
I was like, fuck. But like, honestly, this is a movie. Like, I'm trying to find what the actual plot, like a synopsis that I could read online here. But the trailer's batshit crazy. I think it's one of those like this is the Nick Cage I prefer because we talked about that with Willy's Wonderland because I feel like Willy's Wonderland is also one like that's what Taylor prefers. But I like when he's making his faces, saying his like gags, like saying his like quips and everything like that when he's being like trying to be a good actor, but he's really not. But here's the synopsis if anyone's not seen it. It's coming out September 17th. So I feel like this one, even if I'm gone, you guys might review because it's coming theatrical but VOD as well. So you got the double option.
Yeah.
And then a notorious criminal must break out an evil curse in order to rescue an abducted girl who has mysteriously disappeared. You know what? That synopsis makes it sound a lot more tame than what was in this trailer because this trailer is bonkers. He also gets bomb strapped to his neck and his junk, and if he doesn't get this girl back, it's going to explode. I think he's like has 5 days or something. Sophia Botella is the girl who's like a really great actress. I'm just waiting for her to like really blow up, but she really hasn't. She's been in The Mummy, she's been in Kingsman and whatnot. So what did this interest you? Because like I said, I'll see at the Color of Space producers up, but I'll see who's directing. I don't think it's the same director.
Yeah. So like right away, as soon as I just saw him, I felt like he looked the exact same as his character in Willy's Wonderland,
Mm.
whether it's like the facial hair and I think he even had like a leather jacket. And then I saw him like get out of a vehicle. I'm like, is this actually like the exact same vehicle? And it's just a complete sequel. I was waiting for that one girl to pop out of the car too.
Oh
I
God,
guess
yeah.
spoilers to that movie.
Oh, don't worry. If anyone's mad, tweet at us. It's okay.
um, and like the first part of the trailer, I was like, ugh. And then, like you just said, that from the director of Mandy and Color to Space, I'm like, oh no, this is gonna be a movie. And then as soon as that moment happened, the trailer just kind of shifted for me. And I feel like whether it was like the big quotes on screen saying like, oh, the craziest movie Nick Cage has ever signed up for, or a total wild ride for someone that just loves wild movies. It was just like hitting all the notes of like some of my favorite commentary tracks that we've done. So,
Yeah.
so I got a little giddy like going forward. I'm like, okay, this will be a fun one to talk about or do a watch along, whatever we might do. And it's Nick Cage, and I just felt like it's so in our wheelhouse. So I knew I was gonna be seeing it. Um,
Kirklin says that with like the only reason you're saying like because I feel like you liked Willy's Wonderland, but I feel like you're 50-50 with him right now
I
because Color of the Space was just so
I hated
you
Color Out of
know.
Space.
Shout out to Aaron
I
Brain, one of our Patreon producers, for giving us that movie last year to watch. I
I
love that it's become like this like legend of like Color Out of Space. So Aaron, you'll always have that imprint on our podcast.
oh absolutely because I don't normally go with like the heavy H in my hates on movies, and I
Yeah,
hated that movie. So that was
yeah.
I'm glad I saw it, so I have like somewhere to set the bar. You know, if I'm comparing a movie to something.
Yeah.
Um,
And if someone's ever like, "Oh, it's like Color Out of Space," like, okay, fuck this movie.
okay, yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
um, but something like Willy's Wonderland, I felt like I had so much fun watching it like together, and we were just like we did a watch along for that one. But even if we just
Mm.
see it and then we talk about the moments, it's always just more fun amongst a group. Where as if I feel like if I just had a Friday night alone, I'm like, let's just plug
Oh
this movie
yeah.
in. I probably wouldn't be too happy with my choice. There's some funny moments in it, but it's so much better with people to, I don't know, bounce off of or just talk about what you just saw.
I feel like majority of those like Nick Cage crazy ones are ones you have to see. Like that's why I still at some point before the year's end I'm gonna watch Pig because Pig apparently is not that. Pig's like, oh, it's Nick Cage, like the actor, and he can still go. He still has it, but he just is like, as Sub says here, like it's just like Nick Cage is best when he is just off the walls crazy. And I agree with that for the most part, but he can still deliver, some good performances, whatnot. So this one, also, this might be during my break still. So I'll probably, I'll probably give it at least a. I'll give it a go, and Emily will sit there unsatisfied and be really mad that we're watching this movie, and I'll just be like, "Well, it's Nick Cage," but like like he's just one of those same things. Even when we did Netflix and fail, like we'd like do a few, and then like every 3 months we'd always do something with Nick Cage because it was just always there's always some good material there, like there. So
Yeah.
and this movie looks kind of crazy. I like the horror slant. What I really like, have you seen the poster they put out for it? It's on our
No,
thumbnail.
I haven't. I'll
It's
look.
really cool. Prisoners of the Ghostland. It's really cool. Like it looks more arty than what the film would be, but I really like it. It's a cool design. So as long as I get crazy Nick Cage, Bill Moseley's in there, so I really love Bill Moseley from Dell's Rejects and all that stuff. So if we get some craziness fun, like what I'm hoping for, this movie looked like it had that sort of slant. I'm looking for a Nick Cage horror Crank type of style. And that's what I got to ask you. Have you ever seen the Crank movies with Jason Statham?
Yeah, that's what I got the vibes from that right
Yeah.
away when they like strapped him up and it's like you got to find the girl or this
5 days.
happens. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I got. So if it's kind of like that, sign me up because I absolutely love those Crank movies. Those ones I'm excited to retch one day. Like in the middle of Crank 2, I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. There's just like a one where Jason Statham grows big and they have like a Godzilla fight with like another, like they have a kaiju fight, like a Jason Statham in costume sort of thing. Have you ever seen that part of the movie?
No, I don't remember
It's
that one.
wild. It's so good. But yeah, no, that poster, I really like that poster. It looks like some Ghost of
It looks
Tsushima
really
like
cool.
artwork or
Yeah,
something,
100%. I
Yeah.
forgot that's even what this movie was called.
Oh, there's so
Ghostland.
many until today. All I had was, then this is why this explains our podcast, Nick Cage movie trailer, because I knew like we just gotta know what he gets into, so it's like, okay, it's gonna be something like that. But yeah, we will see. So we're gonna take our last ad break, then we're gonna our last topic, we're gonna talk about some Venom, Let There Be Carnage, because there might be a certain reporter making his way to the Venom universe. My god. So we'll be right back. And we're back. I was just reading online the first reactions for Shang-Chi are out, and of course they're all positive. And I don't say that like, there's somebody like, oh, fucking MC, it's always all positive. They're always fresh, but it's just like lots of good stuff in there. Lots of people saying it's a big setup for Phase 4. Oh, this is what I was gonna say, because I think we'll do a predictions episode for Shang-Chi before, like once we get closer. But it was confirmed today that the movie is gonna take place post snap, because that was kind of a theory, and even Chris had that theory, and I agreed with it that maybe it would be in the middle of the snap or like kind of mixed in there, but it's going to be like after, like it's going to be on our present day MCU. So that's interesting, because I thought, okay, another, because I feel like Eternals is going to have some prequel-ish stuff. So it's like, okay, another movie where we're in the middle of the snap or something like that. Like I want to see that, but I do want to move forward. So I like that we are moving forward. That's kind of fun. So
Yeah.
that still makes me question though, after the snap, why is Wong Cage fighting,
I mean, don't have to ask me. You'll find out shortly.
Yeah, a few more weeks. That's Bob says the best Marvel movie since. Yeah, they do that a lot. And I, as someone that loves the MCU, I think it's the greatest franchise ever in the film. It is always like every time one comes out, like I'll say that, but like Kirklin really like Black Widow, but I saw a lot of those like it's the best Marvel. And I was like, no, I can't. I can't subscribe to that theory. But a theory I might subscribe to is, at Venom, Let There Be Carnage. You haven't actually even seen the new trailer. You don't have to, because I reviewed it, so you don't have to. There was a trailer for Venom when you were gone.
Nice.
So
Good for
Yeah,
those guys. I hope their movie didn't get delayed.
it did, and it's gonna again. And then yeah, next week supposedly I think it's gonna leak, so we'll find a way. But during Gamescom, CinemaCon's actually happening, and the rumor is they're gonna show the Spider-Man trailer, but it won't be to the public. But if there's a leak, we're gonna find a way to get that. But anyway, so there was some news that came out today that J. Jonah Jameson, played by J.K. Simmons, is going to be in Venom Let There Be Carnage. So obviously, like, not a big development, but is this something like this is more kind of mixing of like MCU and the Sonyverse and stuff like that. So one, how do you feel about we got Michael Keaton in a trailer? We have Jonah now in this. The director or somebody or producer kind of let slip that Tom Hardy might be in this movie. He kind of said something and then like almost walked it back, but he was like, oh, and then when you're on set and you're looking at call sheets like Jared Leto, Michael Keaton, Tom Hardy, like it's just really cool. And then they just like kind of trailed off and everything like that. So it's like, why else? Why would like Tom Hardy be on a call sheet for Morbius? You know, I don't
Yeah.
know. But how do you feel about Jonah coming back for this? I asked you at the wrong
Um,
time.
Sorry. Let's I
He's a rook. We got to get
I'm
him
not
ready,
ready
you
for these
know?
late nights. Yeah. I I'm totally down for it. I feel like if anyone is just one character out of all the different universes, I feel like J. Jonah Jameson is the
Yeah.
perfect one to choose just because JK is so good at that character. Um so for me, I'm totally for it. I would not have an issue if it was like, oh, for some reason this is taken away from like the MCU appearance of him. Or because my mind doesn't go right away that just because we have JK, it's combining them.
Yeah.
I kind of felt that way even when he appeared in um, No Way
Far from
Home.
home.
Far from
Far
home.
from home.
No Way
Yeah.
Home. We haven't seen
Those
that one
fucking
yet.
home
Yeah.
titles. They're just
Yeah.
forgettable. They just mesh. They just blend into one another. It's so annoying.
Yeah. The Europe one. The Europe
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Mysterio.
yeah. So that's kind of my camp. If it does lead to him mixing, I would say ask me when that is actually confirmed, and because my mind will probably change for when I see him live, or maybe an explanation on why he's there. So that's kind of how I feel on him.
Well, and the thing is, like, the reason why I guess this one doesn't bug me for two reasons is one, I'm like you, I'll take JK in that role as much as possible. Like, we got it in the three already in the Raimi movies. We got a nice surprise for Spider Man Far From Home. So he's going to probably be in the next Spider Man. If we get him for this and Morbius, I'm down. Just any more, just like audio, video, whatever.
Mhm.
Jonah is JK. Or JK is that's the twist. He's playing JK Simmons in the movie. He's like an actor, but no, anything like that, I'm down. And even then, like you're right, like that's it is technically like a link, but really he could just be playing the same character in multi universe the same way as of right now. It doesn't look like he's the Jonah from Sam Raimi's films. It just looks like he's playing Jonah again, right? So I forgot, and this doesn't have much to do with the Venom Carnage thing because yeah, I'm excited. It's just kind of like okay, cool. When I see him, that'll be great. I'm not sure if it's gonna be like Spider-Man Far From Home where we just see him on a screen or if we see Tom Hardy and him interact. I would love to see Tom Hardy and him interact because like the Daily Bugle, Tom Hardy's reporter. So I would love to see that connection of characters because I feel like that's just like Tom Hardy and J.K. That's just like a fun little duo to think about. But while you're gone, there's rumors that let's see. There's rumors that Kingpin is going to be in Hawkeye, and it might tie to Spider-Man. Now, I will preference this with, as far as the tier list, this did come from Reddit, but the Reddit page has gotten things right before, and apparently the Kingpin though would be Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. So,
We talked about this before I left, and
did we?
we're talking about like we think he's appearing in episode 5
We
or
did.
something,
Okay.
is what the
Okay.
thread said on
So
Reddit.
now I
Yeah.
can actually surprise you with two other things. Hawkeye. Did you see the date of it when it's coming out?
No, I didn't.
November 24th. So end of November is coming out. And
Right on.
then as of right now, it looks like Miss Marvel is going to be 2022 because they were saying like there's some reporter that said like, oh no, like it's just Hawkeye as of right now. And then in the earnings call, they didn't say anything about, they're just like, we got lots of exciting Marvel stuff like Hawkeye. And then they didn't say anything about Miss Marvel. So it doesn't look
Mm.
like we're getting that this year. At Family Clay says Shang-Chi has post-credit scenes plural. JJJ is one constant in the multiverse. Yes, he has. I'm not surprised that Shang-Chi has two post-credit scenes. They always, and here's my question though with Shang-Chi, because as right now these guys are talking, like I said, people of press right now, Kirklin, they just saw the movie, so that's why
Yeah.
there's like reactions coming out to and everything like that. So like, I'm not surprised. My question is just, is it one, for in my opinion, I just hope it's better than the Black Widow one because I thought that was very meh. But like, is it actually two post credit scenes or is it a post credit scene and then something funny? Yes, I get it. If it's something funny, that technically is a post credit scene. It's a scene happening after the movie. But like, I don't count those out that much. I don't like. How do you feel about like the comedic like MCU post credit stinger? Like, they're not for me at that point. I want important stuff. If not, put it in the movie. You know?
Yeah, I think if it's timed well, like if the ending isn't anything super serious, it
Mhm.
totally fits. If it's like a side character that everyone kind of loved in the movie that didn't have a lot of limelight, it's a nice place to just plop them in at the end credit scene. Um, Sometimes I like a comedic Easter egg, maybe.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I am just more interested in the serious stuff because that's just what really gets me if I'm thinking like one particular part of these Marvel movies. But at the end of the day, I still love the comedy for the most part, I should say. So
I was gonna say. So, do you think? Well, if Feige comes to you and he says you only get like for Phase 4, we're only getting funny post credit. No, that's a bad question actually. What would for one movie? And let's just go Shang Chi. Either you get no post credit scene or you get a post credit scene, but it's nothing but humor. Like nothing big happens, just funny.
um I feel like I should say funny one, but the higher intellect in me would be like, no, no credit scene. But I don't
Yeah,
know. Like maybe if it ends on a super comedic note, which I don't think that's a problem. I think it could go that way.
yeah.
Get a funny scene to just like keep riding that high. But at the end of the because even then, I feel like if it ends in like a
This is
lighthearted
tougher for
matter,
Kirkland.
it would be a lot more interesting if it just did a tonal shift and was like, "Oh, this is who's coming next," or "Oh, this is kind of dark something building," and then yeah, you get the laughs at the end of the movie, but then if you stick around at the end credit, you're like, "Holy fuck, I'm excited for what's to come." So bullet to my head. I'd probably still take one though, because I do just like sitting in the theater. I feel like it's a habit at this point, just waiting for that end credit scene. Seen it so many times before. So yeah, I think for it to not have one, kind of save that for the important moments if it's not like a prequel like we just saw Black Widow.
Yeah. Obviously, I won't we won't get too deep into this because we'll do an episode on this. Also, because I'm not sure when Taylor's back, and maybe he'll be on the episode. If not, we'll do it. Maybe we'll get a guest on or something. Maybe we'll have Clay on to defend his what he thinks is his good play style. But I suppose predictions for the end credit are Abomination recruitment, Shang-Chi Avengers recruitment, a funny scene, maybe Trevor Slattery. Yeah, I could see Trevor Slattery like he's been Kingsley. He was the fake Mandarin in Iron Man 3. I could see him being in this because you got the real Mandarin. This honestly, I think I've said this. I said this maybe like 6 months ago on Marvel Alliance, but I can't remember if you're listening to this. He's a patron, and it's I never know how to say, it, but I think it's Dookie. He's a funny guy. We talk on Twitter all the time. He had pitched of what he wanted the end credits scene for Shang-Chi to be is him getting recruited to the Avengers, and I just think, man, like that I will stand up at that moment because I'm always down. Like I'm not even that attached to Sung Chi, but just I'm always down for like fuck, we're getting the band back together. Like we're
Yeah,
especially because like if this is a movie in present day, and then you have the Eternals, which remember that Eternals trailer ended with that joke of Icarus being like, I could lead the Avengers. They are slowly starting to make it a kind of not a who done it, but a who is the Avengers now. And I think that will be one of the main vibes as far as Avengers, like the same way the first Avengers had that vibe of like, okay, we have everybody around, but can they be a team? I think now this will be similar. Like, oh, there's lots of heroes around, but who would be the Avengers? And you know what I would absolutely love as well too is if we had a hero in the Avengers. Fuck, is it Avengers 5 now? Yeah, Avengers 5. Holy fuck
jeez.
in Avengers 5, I'd love it if we had a hero and they didn't actually go to the Avengers. Like it didn't work out. Like they helped them in a mission, but it's like, you know what, I'm gonna go do my own thing. Or kind of like when we read what was it? When we read House of M and how Wolverine was kind of caught in between the X-Men and Wolverine. I'd love if somebody was like, yeah, I could be in the Avengers, but I'm gonna go somewhere else. And man, and yeah, exactly. As far as F Bubs, I think that was Dookie pointing that out too. He wanted, yeah, that he said this exact same thing as Bubs. So shout out to you, shout out to Dookie, as far as Falcon being the guy that recruits him. Man, if Shang-Chi ended with Sam Wilson in that Captain America suit, being like, I'm going to talk to you about the Avengers or whatnot, man, that would be hype. Like, wouldn't you get
Yeah.
hyped about that? Like,
Oh yeah.
oh
I would
yeah,
go crazy. Especially
yeah.
like seeing Sam in that suit on the big screen. That'd be like, whoo, okay, it's coming.
Yeah, yeah, S Bubs. Yeah, you're right. You got to respect his new title. He is Captain America now. Family Clay said Shang-Chi gonna be more like a standalone like Black Panther, or direct connection to something in the future. I predict it'll be more like Black Panther. The way Foggy's been talking about, even reactions to me, Black Panther. If you watch it for the most part, other than the very beginning when they talk about his dad dying in Civil War, and then the end credits, that's just like a solo Marvel movie. You know, like it has really nothing to do with the rest of the MCU. You could literally probably not even watch that and watch him in Infinity War and Endgame. It wouldn't really matter. So I think it'll be like that because I think you could literally make Shang-Chi the direct standalone movie, but then if the end credit scene is Falcon recruiting or somebody, right there it ties in. So you don't got to spend any of that 2 hours tying into the MCU, but then that last 2 minutes, boom, there it is. And I suppose also throughout Abomination recruitment, it's possible because what we got Val, she talked to what the fuck is her name? Yelena, right? Yelena.
Yeah.
Few boys in the house back together, but like talk to her, got John Walker. I just very much do want to see a scene of Abomination and John Walker trying to figure it out, like trying to like try to make a game plan of sorts. But yeah, I would those are great suggestions, you know, but I don't want to get too hyped because I don't want to get to that point. And if it's not that, you know, and be disappointed. All the only thing that I would say to continue on this is they ask him Feige, like, when's the next time we'll see Shang-Chi? And he just said, like, we got a direct path for him. So I feel like he will be a member of the Avengers just because it's just even there's a trailer going around where it's like showing the history of Marvel and it's like they're making him be some big bridges here. So if he doesn't get recruited here, he'll definitely be in She-Hulk. Oh, you're talking about Abomination. Okay. I think I'm Shang-Chi. I'm like, I don't think Shang-Chi's gonna be in She-Hulk's S Bubs. Yeah, Abomination is in She-Hulk. I'm very interested in that. But yeah. Anything else to say on that topic there, sir?
Nope.
So our last thing of the day was if you join Patreon, you can do this or watch live because also we like to interact with live chat. But Clay, not fanboy Clay, US Clay agent in our Discord. Check out our Discord, drop us a line, and we will send you the link where it's in the description, but sometimes it's inspired. So on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, we'll send you a link. But he says, I feel like video games right now have been slightly on the back burner. It doesn't seem like many big titles have come out, and all that hoopla is about blockbuster movies and whether they're bad box office numbers or delays. What are some video games you are going to be playing in the fall, especially if, God forbid, movies get delayed again? Sir, prepare yourself. Movies are going to get delayed again. It's already happened. We lost Clifford. Venom's got 3 weeks. I'm telling you, Spider-Man is not coming out this year. I don't think at all. I'm not getting hyped for it. I'm just telling myself it's a next year movie. But I think it's that, like, is there any big games out right now? Like, what do you think was the biggest game that's released the past few months?
Oh dear, I have not been on the game release train.
But I still feel like because like I agree with that, but I feel like it's just like you should know as far as usually know. Okay, there was a big title that came out, even if you're not playing, you're like, boom, here you go. And Clay says Black Panther and Avengers. Yeah, that like it's not big, but it's like it's notable, but it's not like a like if Horizon Zero Dawn would have come out, or Death Stranding would have come out, or Ghost of Tsushima, or like now we're getting the fall where we have like Call of Duty coming out, we got Battlefield, so we have some coming, but I can't remember like what I'm gonna go. Well, are you cheating already? Looking online as
I
far as
might
games
be
come? Oh,
glancing
you
at some
bastard! I
notes.
was gonna pull up, but yeah, what has come out so far?
I'm trying to look for a big title, and nothing's really.
Because I haven't bought a game this entire year because it's so funny because usually I'll buy a game and I'll tell him like, oh, I'm not gonna buy a game for a while, like don't worry, and then I'll go and buy a game. She's like, it's only been a few months, but she said like this is the first time in a while it's been since I bought a game, and I can't remember the last $80-$60 game I bought because I've been playing Games Pass or I've been catching up on games.
Yeah, no, exactly. I kind of tied in the reins on myself on just like
Yeah.
buying games because I just had so many in my back burner. The last game I bought, which I think came out this year, no, probably not even actually. It's probably been a couple years now, but is the latest Fire Emblem game because
Mhm.
Dylan was ranting and raving about it, and I was talking to him about it last time he was in town, and that was when I bought it, and I've been so happy with it since then. It's one of those games that is like a 200-hour time sink, probably. Like it
Yeah.
takes so long to play those games, so I'm pretty much set for that one. Um, and yeah, to if I have to narrow it down, like I was even glancing through the notes, and like I guess Ratchet and Clank is like the latest one,
Yeah, I think
and
his
that's not a big
audience,
big
but
game. And
no,
then
it's
like
not a big game though.
Skyward Sword remake and like Mario Golf, but like even then, that's not, you know, like I feel like people that have those types of console, like the Switch, and like those are the people that kind of was on the radar. But even then, like I think when we were talking about Skyward Sword, our hype wasn't the highest on it. Like I think I was the highest on it. I never ended up getting it for just the same reason where not enough time, not enough time to
Pokemon this
play it.
fall. Oh, you're lucky, Clay. I thought there was like a in this option I have right here. I don't have a delete. Delete the comment or whatnot. But yeah, Pokemon's this fall. But Pokemon's Pokemon. It has its audience. It's a big audience, but just like I don't think it brings in too many new people. Right? That's the thing of Pokemon. It has a huge base, but it's not like the games are the same thing over and over again. Like for me, I'm the same way as because Dylan I think was a little disappointed because S Bubs shouted out, and I really want to play it, but I'm also just I'm there's a chance I might get it now that Venom's delayed to October is Deathloop because I do really want to play it. It looks great. I like the aesthetic. But at the same time, it's just like, so yeah, tomorrow, legitimately, this is how I'm spending my time before What If. I'm just going to be playing Black Panther War for Wakanda. I'm very excited. Lots of good reviews. I've been playing Avengers again, but even as I'm playing it, there's still so much content in there. It's like, oh, I haven't even done this and I want to do it. It's not that it's not even interesting me. It's like, okay, I want to do that. Ghost of Tsushima, I never did. You 100% it, like all the side quests and everything?
I haven't finished. I was playing it not too long ago, but
Mhm.
just doing some of the side quests I
Yeah.
haven't done yet.
So I haven't done all that. And on Friday, the director's cut's coming out. I'm getting that. And the thing is, the difference is, though, with Deathloop versus that, Ghost of Tsushima DLC or whatever, director's cut, $20. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
$20 on top of a game, like more story, more islands, stuff like that. And I have more reason to play it versus Deathloop, which is a whole big game and stuff like that, where it's like I do have that FOMO, of course, and I want to play it. I want to be, no pun intended, in the loop. But at the same time, unless it's a huge title, I go, well, like I can wait. Like here's an example next year. Gotham Knights, when that comes out, that's a day one. I'll be playing the shit out of that. That's a game where no matter what, if I have games that are in the backlog, it has to go up. Now, I think I'm probably gonna do this because I want to stream it, so I'll probably still get it. But like Guardians coming out this year, even I thought about like, oh, I could maybe wait a little bit. Like I could play that later, but because like I said, I might stream it with our audience. Go, okay, I'll probably still get that one. But nowadays there are more games I look at. I go, you know what? I'll just wait till it's even $40 or something. And it's not even because like I'm not even like trying to brag or anything. It's just like right now I make the most money I ever have because I have a government job. I'm well taken care of. But it's just like a time factor. And it's like, do I really want to spend $80 if I know it might just end up sitting there for a while? You know, like
Yeah.
when I could like maybe get 2 games down the line or pay for a couple months of Games Pass. But like so
Totally.
for me, I got War for Wakanda this week. I got Ghost of Tsushima Friday, and then September 24th, which I cannot wait because I've been waiting for an excuse to get back in the game, as the director's cut for Death Stranding. And that for me is that, and that's the other reason why though is that comes out the week after Deathloop. So I just know already if I get Deathloop, I'm gonna have a game that I'm wanting to play more, or I'm already spend $80 in Deathloop and then $20 in Death Stranding and stuff like that. And I remember the time when Horizon came out and Breath of the Wild came out, and it is a bad thing to do because I was playing them both and enjoying it. But as I was playing Breath of the Wild, because I have certain problems with that game, the whole time, all I was thinking about was, all while I was playing it, was I want to play Horizon right now. I want to play Horizon. So that's why I feel like with Deathloop, I might be like, even though I played Death Stranding, the whole time I'll be thinking about like, man, I got to get that BB somewhere. You know, like I want to see what's going on in this world. So I got those three, probably Guardians. Legitimately, I don't think you saw. No, you were camping. You didn't see the E3 show. Battlefield almost sold me, legitimately. And it's probably because now I'm more of a shooter guy, like the past few years with COD. But like, it looks so fucking fun. It looks
Mm.
crazy ass. Like just some of the, if you should watch like their E3 trailer. There's just like tornadoes in the middle of like death matches and stuff
Oh
like that.
wow.
It looks nuts. But again, I was like, yeah, but do I want to spend $80 on it?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'd have to look. And you were probably gone for this, but like Horizon Zero Dawn, it looks like it's getting delayed to next year. So that's another one that's a day one for me, but that's okay. Booted to next year. So
Yeah. Yeah, like I had a couple like game purchases I had in mind for like planning because I initially I was like, okay, I'm gonna try and get my hands on like a PS5 around the fall time, and
yeah,
then like they are extremely hard to find, but also like I just was like, I have so many games that I'm like set with right now. I don't really have to go out of my way to get a PS5 game because I was originally wanting to get like the Death Stranding director's cut for that, and then like a couple maybe a couple sports games. I'm always a sucker for like the new sports games on the latest console, just to see how nice it looks. But I'm totally fine with just waiting
Mhm.
for now, at least until they're more readily available, or maybe I'm forever going to be chasing that nice, sexy bundle. I'm just imagining the Spider-Man combo. I I saw the Spider-Man PS4 and I missed out on that one. So if it comes out with PS5, I was gonna do that one. So as of right now, like the games that are kind of on my radar is like Metroid Dread. Depending on the timing,
Yeah.
because I think that's October, like mid-October, I believe. Depending on the timing, like if I'm not really playing anything at the time, but I don't know. I just want to jump on the Switch or something. I feel like it's an easy enough game to just pick up and go sometimes. It's not a super heavily invested because it's still, like a platformer type Metroid game. So I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that one almost
Um,
got me. I love that E3. I love the artwork. That's one where I
oh
don't think
yeah, it
I'll
looks
buy
so
day
good.
one, but I definitely am gonna get around to it and stuff like that. Espo says, "What's the director's cut?" I'm very out of the loop. Is a separate game or DLC to the main game? It's just DLC with a sexy name. That's what it is. It's like, okay, if you own the game, it's an add-on, but like you can get it up res and stuff like that. It's gonna be for Ghost of Tsushima. It's like a new villain, new story, new island. Death Stranding has been kind of cagey, but that's just kind of Kojima in general. He always likes to keep his cards close to the vest, but it's Death Stranding. That's arguably maybe my favorite game of all time. So I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna dish out the $20. I do feel bad though because it looks like it's only for PS5 only.
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima is both for PS4 and PS5. You can get the
Hmm.
upgrade for Death Stranding. As of right now, it looks like just PS5. So it's kind of disappointing for Dylan because I was looking forward to playing that with him and talking about, but doesn't look because he got a Xbox instead. And hey, I know Games Pass is great, but that's why you got to go Sony Pony. You got to go there. That was his mistake. But S Bubs asked the Ghost. Yeah, you should definitely play it if you like solo single player PlayStation games. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely worth
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. And then the other one I was keeping an eye on is Dying Light 2. That's like
Oh
me and
yeah,
Taylor's game. It's been delayed for like so long. And
it's gonna be Dying 3 by the time you play it.
yeah. I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but I can't see myself getting it right away. Like even the first game, it took me a while to get that one. I remember like seeing E3
Mhm.
trailers. I'm like, that looks crazy, and then it just went by the wayside. But then what put it on my radar was just word of mouth and like coworkers, like, "Oh, have you
Yeah.
heard of this game? It's so good." And I'm like, "Oh, I did hear about that," and I was slightly interested. So I'm glad that it is good. So that's what ended up making me get that one. But Dying Light 2, I'll observe. Whenever there's a lot of delays, it always has a little asterisk next to it. But I still love that game enough that even if I get it on like a, I don't know, $30 sale or something down the road, I'll probably just go that route. And then the other one I had is Age of Empires 4. Age of Empires 1,
Mm.
if you didn't know, that's the first game I ever played in my life. So like I'm just excited to like play that with my dad because we used to like play those games back in the day together. So that one is really exciting, especially that it's going to be on Games Pass. I'm subscribed to the PC version of it, so I'll just have it, which is always a big positive. And then my most anticipated game for the fall is Total War Warhammer 3 on the PC. It's like a grand strategy game. That is I love strategy games, and that one is just sucked up so many hours out of my
Yeah.
life, but I love it. And it's the third game, but it's really cool. It combines all three games together on like a big grand campaign map, so it's going to be insane when it comes out, and that's September, I believe.
Well, we all have those games, like, because I was thinking about that today while I was playing Avengers and the same conversation we're having. I'm like, what games would make me drop everything? I like Clay said he says he's gonna take the day off for Gotham Knights. That's me too. Like a game about the Bat family. That is my
Yeah.
fucking cream dreaming game. But like, I've said this before too. Of like, if legitimately they're like, hey, Knights of the Republic remake is happening and it's out. This all that's like one of those. Okay, I'm dropping everything. There's just some certain titles where it's like you go, okay, yeah, I could wait, or I don't need to play it. But there are some where you go, no, this is what has to be a day one. And God of War, when that comes out, that'd be one. So I still do have those. They're just not around right now. Those aren't the like. There's not the day one bangers where like I have to get right now. And SBUB says like I'm trying to get through PlayStation catalog, been really enjoying Infinite Second Son, and that same thing. Never played that game. I still have never fully played through all the Uncharted yet. I've played them a little bit, but like
Mhm.
I would love to. I have the collection. I have all four of them on my PlayStation ready to go, and I'd love to play through. I know some might be dated now, but still, I'm a story guy, so that's how I know I would like it. So that's where it's like there's still so many old games too, where it's like I gotta get around to playing them. Like I still own Resident Evil Remake 2 or whatever it is, and haven't even touched it, and stuff like that. Which one is it? Is it 2? Isn't it?
Yeah,
That they
Resident
remade?
Evil 2.
Yeah, and then they
They
did
did
3,
2
and then
and then
everyone's waiting
3.
on 4. Yeah, that
Yeah.
like 4 is gonna be the one. But yeah, that's why it's like there's so much stuff in the past where it's like, yeah, I got tons to play. And I did forget to mention this one. This one is a day one for me because it's like the game I've been pitching since Geek first started, is that Mario Party All Stars game, the one where they're
Mhm.
remastering like the old maps from the N64 era. That one has to be. We've already said like me and Emily are gonna have the kids. They're gonna go with the grandparents that day, and we are just going to be playing that game. Oh yeah, because that's our jam. I think that's one of the first things we did as like a couple was play like N64 Mario Party, and it has like some of her favorite games like Eats a Pizza. So it's like, yeah,
Nice.
that's one that I definitely really need. So Fanboy Clay says I like the Uncharted games, and I know I would.
Yeah.
I love Naughty Dog. Like
Yeah,
Last
it's
of
great.
Us Part 1 and 2, some of the best games ever made. Last of Us 2 has some story issues in my opinion, but like I still put it up there. Like Last of Us 2, even if it's like like a solo tier, it's better than most games. That's saying something, and SBubs, you're not alone. Dylan's the same thing as far as he tried Uncharted, didn't really like it, but I think I will because I like Naughty Dog. I like the story, so I'll get around to it at some point, I hope. But also, games, they take long, they can take 20 to 40 hours. So it's not like I back in the day, like a job, podcast, kids, life, workout. That's where it's like, stuff like that.
That's like the description of like Travis's favorite games. So you're
It is. Yeah, it really is like Last of Us. I'm trying to think like, like us. Well, and yeah,
Red
Death
Dead is
Stranding.
on there too, I swear.
Red Dead, Death Stranding is literally just walking. You're literally just walking, But Batman Arkham City, but that's got the Batman in there. But yeah, no, I'm down for the story. But then sometimes I break down like maybe should I just watch the cutscene movie? Like I'm gonna be doing that soon with the
I've done
Injustice
that
one.
for a few games. Around the time of
Yeah,
Mortal Kombat, I was just like watching like the past game ones that led up to the current game,
yeah,
and
and I'm
they're
gonna.
good. They're well done.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do that with those Injustice ones. I think at some point because they're making an actual
Yeah,
movie, but it's like I don't think I'll play the games. But like I said, I think your very last cast we're on together, you did kind of convince me if they make a Marvel one that I might jump into that because it's like you know what, I might take the plunge. So yeah, I think that's all the games looking forward to, unless there's some like surprise drop we don't know about. Like there was these rumors again. I wouldn't buy this because I wouldn't have the time, but it's very interesting. While you're away, there's these rumors that they're going to put out some sort of 3-pack of Grand Theft Auto. I think it's like
oh,
one
Vice
Vice
City.
City and
Yeah,
San Andreas. Like
yeah.
it was like a mix of old and new graphics. It was remade, and they did this. I don't know if you remember a few years ago, like PS4 era. They did that. They just did like what not a remake. It's just like a remaster of the old games, and they put them on the PS4. But this sounds like it's more not from the ground up, but a bit more polished. But again, as much as I would love to play Vice City or San Andreas again, I don't know if I have time for 3 Grand Theft Auto games, even though that's a franchise that's near and dear. Grand Theft Auto 4 is in my top like 10 games. So that's something where if I hear that announced, it's like, that's tempting, but it's tough.
You gotta just tell yourself that there's gonna be a point down the line you're gonna see that on like PlayStation sale, or like maybe it's just a PSN Now free game, like, or I guess it's not PSN Now,
Yeah.
PS Plus. So like we're
15
just in that
bucks.
era where so many things. I mean, they're under the blanket of free. You pay for the subscription service, so it's not really free, but it's still just stuff that you're getting. Whereas, like, I've gotten games on there that are like an $80 game that I've like almost bought, and then I'm like, no, I don't need this, and then it comes on PlayStation Plus. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
nice. I'm
Like
glad I
Days
didn't go
Gone.
that route. Like Days Gone,
Yeah.
exactly. there's been a few on there for sure.
Oh, it was so funny. Clay says, "I just need GTA 6." Yeah, well, wait a few more years, buddy. The rumor is like 2023, the earliest. Like that's gonna.
Yeah.
They like to take their time. So I think you were also gone for this. It's so funny. I don't know if you remember, but Family Clay, he like put up this tweet of like a bunch of games, and he was like, "What should I play?" And you had suggested Days Gone, or you'd gone home. And
Yeah.
I was saying like, oh yeah, definitely gone home. He accidentally thought you meant Days Gone, so he was plugging
Oh
it up.
no.
And I was like, really? You picked Days Gone? And he's like, well, yeah, I just want to play it. You know, the good thing is about this is like short and small, so I can get through it quick and then move on to something else. And I messaged Chris.
Oh, Clay.
I was like, oh, he doesn't know. I'm like, I'm gonna tell him and stuff like that. And the good thing was too, while he was playing that, because you were gone, he thought the whole time, which like it kind of is, but he thought it was like a legit full-on horror game. And I was talking to Chris, and like, oh, just wait, he doesn't even know. Like it's not that all. But yeah, if S-Bubs, if you haven't played Gone Home, that's like a what, half an hour game probably. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah,
is
for
just
sure.
phenomenal game, like phenomenal storytelling. Just like
Totally.
talk about subversion of expectations, so good. So
Another
but it was
big
really
one
funny.
another big one I always love to recommend is What Remains of Edith Finch. It's
Right,
it's
you and
it's the
Dylan really
same.
like that one.
Oh, me and Dylan were going off about that one.
Yeah.
I controversially rated it pretty high on the out of mana best games ranking list.
Oh yeah.
But I love that game. The storytelling is just phenomenal, and I love those games for it because it's not a heavy investment. It's just like you're sitting down to watch a movie. Like I
Yeah.
think that one is maybe like an hour and a bit.
Just
But
like
yeah,
this.
Gone Home is like 30 minute.
20-minute cutscenes, 5-minute walking gameplay. So yeah, maybe I suppose
Just
maybe
reversed. It's reversed.
yeah, maybe this won't be for you, but no, it's worth it. Even then, if it's not worth it, go watch like a Gone Home stream on YouTube, and like the story's just like it's like a to me it reminds me of like a indie film or like a short film as far as like comparing to a video game and stuff like that. But it was just so funny when
Totally.
he plugged in Days Gone. I'm like, nope, that's not the one. That
That's so funny.
well, we've done it. Is there anything else you gotta throw out there, Kirkland, before we end this shindig?
Not at all. Thanks for having me back and cushioning the fall on my return to the podcast stage. So
Yeah, well, I decided I'm better off alone, so you don't gotta come back next week. It's all good. So I
I'll
no.
see you in 2 weeks. Like my
Yeah.
little 2 week breaks.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was good. And yeah, we almost had this at an hour, but the people in the chat were keeping us going, talk about some video games. So that was fun. So yeah, we'll be back we'll be doing What If. I feel like I'll be doing What If because I don't think Kirkland's gonna make it. We'll see if he does, but he's used to like sleeping in now with his time off, stuff like that. I've been recording podcasts at midnight every night because I'm like, I'm alone. Fuck it. I'm just gonna do it here. But like we'll see if he makes it. But if not, we'll definitely be doing a newscast on Thursday. And then and then I'm trying to think. No, it's just stuff I got going on the weekend. I got Reminiscence. There's a Paw Patrol movie coming out. Very exciting.
Ooh,
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. You
It's
gotta
the like
rate and
full
review that.
I'm gonna try and actually get Gwen to do it. I'm gonna try
Oh,
to see if
nice.
because I got her to review Onward when she was like very little and could only say a few things. But I would like to see if I ask her a few questions what she would say because she's such a who would have thunk talkative kid now. So but
That's awesome.
yeah, that's the full like big boy CG one. Like it's like the big animation one. So it's
Ooh, big
yeah, yeah.
budget.
Yeah, so we're going back and forth. We were gonna go to theaters, but the way things are recently, it's like, we want to take the kids. I don't know, but the good thing is it's streaming the same day, so we got the option
Nice.
of. That's why you know what I not that I want Shang-Chi to do bad, but I very much like the option of movies because if I get really busy in September and that certain time, I'd like to be able to watch it at home, but I might not be able to. So we'll see. I
Yeah.
hope my project just holds on a few days until after the second. That's all I gotta make it to is the second, and then I'm a free guy. I can be like, hey. And if you haven't figured out by then I don't know. I'll announce it in the future. Thank you very much, sir, for coming back. And yeah, it was good. I'm, all in all jokes aside for people, I am happy to have you back. Because one, I get to take a water break when you're talking, which is great. That's the biggest.
The last one I was just you had like a panic attack when you realized that you had no water left. It was like, there's no water in this room.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. You're just trying to time like water breaks and whatnot. And two, like on like it's definitely because it's warmer right now. But doing a podcast alone, you get a lot more tired a lot quick because you talk for a long and there's no breaks. It's just like you and. So I am happy you're back, and I'll be happy Taylor's back. And a big thank you to everybody for for the 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks, however long it was. I can't remember how many podcasts we did, but thanks for supporting me. I didn't drop the ball, and it was tons of fun. Thanks for the patrons that sent in questions too. And the first show, people felt bad for me for sure, because people usually send a few questions. The first show, like every patron like sent in a bunch for the newscast. I was like, oh, they don't think I'm gonna make it, do they? They think you think Trash Snails have something to talk about, but no, it was it was a good time. So yeah, we'll be back later on this week, and I'll be boring.
Peace.